Hi everyone, we are subtracting unlike fractions, but we're going to show you how to do it using fraction tiles. So if you have fraction tiles, if you made some, you can go online and find them and print them out and cut them out. That way you have perfectly measured out fraction tiles representing how we add and subtract. Now we're subtracting today, so it's a little bit different than when we were adding fractions with models. So I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to be drawing out the models in your work, but I do want you to do it with the manipulatives if you have those, because it's more fun and it makes a lot more sense. All right, so our equation today is going to be 2/3 minus 1/6. So let's represent these models. So I'm taking my whole, which is 2/3, right? So I have a third and another third. I have a total of 2/3. Imagine you have that amount and you want to take away just a sixth of it. So if you took your sixth tile and lined it up underneath, right? Probably be a little bit bigger, let's see. So imagine you want to take away that amount. So if I lined that up, it's like if I took a knife and I cut this, if this was like, let's say, a big piece of chocolate, and I had 2/3 chocolate and I want to cut off a sixth amount, I want to take that amount away and find out, this was part of the third, I want to find out how much am I left with? How much chocolate do I have if I cut off a sixth piece? So line up your sixth underneath so that you know how much you're taking away, and then fill it in with the rest of sixth tiles to see how many are left, because we're converting it into sixths because that's what we took away. So you would line up your other tiles and see how many sixth pieces fit under here. I'm drawing them, but you, if you have tiles, you can just put them up underneath. So really what this is showing, I'm showing you that 2/3 is the same amount as 4/6, right? I have 2/3, that's the same thing as 4/6, and you can prove that by using your fraction tiles and lining them up. It's the same amount. So I took away a sixth. So I'm going to cross this out. I took away a sixth. How much am I left with, right? Because I had to do that from our algorithm. We wanted to take away a sixth. Now that I've represented my thirds into sixths and we lined up our tiles, how many are you left with? 1, 2, 3. So when we take away a sixth from the 2/3, we're left with the amount with a 6 at the bottom. We're left with 3/6. So our equation answer is 3/6. Okay, now let's go back and see what we did. We took the 2/3 and we cut off a sixth amount. So if we lined up, we found all our tiles that have 6 as the denominator. We figured out that 4 of them fit under 2/3. It's the same amount. We cut out the 6 because that's what our equation was. We were taking it out and we are just seeing what we're left with. We're left with 3/6 because 3 of those tiles were still there. So our answer is 3/6. Now you need to make sure you simplify, right? So 3/6 is the same thing as what? Well, I can say that 3 is half of 6, so I know it simplifies to a half. What's that saying? That's saying that this 3/6 is the same amount as a half tile. So go find your half tile and put it up right next to these underneath. It would be the same amount. 3/6 is the same thing as a half of a tile. It's the same amount. I can prove that too on a number line. Let's say I have a number line. A half would be right about here. I can represent on the number line where 3/6 would be. So if I had 6 as my denominator, this would be 0/6. This would be 1 whole. And I have 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, and 5/6. So do you see that 3/6 is the same mark, is the same amount as half? So that's why we can say 3/6 is the same thing as 1/2, or it simplifies to a half. All right, you guys, I hope that helps you with subtracting unlike fractions. Please make sure that you take your time, draw your models if you don't have the manipulatives. If you need to, go ahead and use an algorithm, which will be our next lesson. So be sure to check that out, and I will show you how to do it just by using the algorithm.